Hey, you guys. Welcome to our part two speaking feedback for this week. I'm sorry for the little bit of a delay. We had some internet trouble over at my place, so I was not able to upload these videos. So we're doing it a little bit late, but better late than never, as they say. And our first response here is from Himanshu. And actually, we have two responses from Himanshu, one from last week and one from this week. So why don't we go ahead and listen to last week's first. So as usual, I'll be playing the recording and at the same time taking some notes on grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation, and maybe some strategy notes too if they come up. So here we go.
Last year, I remember that day when I get up and I wish to my parents, happy Silver Year, dad and mom. That day was really amazing and linked to my nostalgic memories. On that day, we celebrated this event in the restaurant. The name of the restaurant is Dreamland. I and my parents call all the friends, family members, and neighborhood people. Uh, Moreover, what's special is that we make I with my mother made a cake. It was a three-layer cake. On the top of the layers, it's written silver jubilee, mom and dad, and the two layers of chocolate and one layer is of strawberry. And I did all the arrangement with my father. We booked the restaurant. We called the DJ person, and all the arrangement was done by me and my father. After that, we danced a lot. We cut the cake. The cake was very yummy. We danced a lot with my friends. We clicked a lot of selfies and photographs. Um, in addition, on that day, my grandparents were alive. They were sitting behind the cake, and when we cut the cake, I clicked the photograph with my grandparents and with my parents, and that photograph is today kept with me. And when I see that photo, it recall my grandparents. Also, that was the thing which made the event special. And I also clearly remember that I danced with my grandparents, parents.
Okay. Yeah, good. There was a little bit of crackling in the recording, and that made some of the pronunciation a little bit harder to understand. Also, I think the intonation really, really affects your comprehensibility. There are some parts in there that I couldn't quite catch what you were saying, and I don't think it was only pronunciation issues. I think the intonation played a big role in that. So this is something that I talk about, I think, pretty much every time I give feedback for your speaking, which is that you need to rise and fall during your speaking. Otherwise, it kind of sounds like you're just reading from a script. I don't think that you are, but it sounds that way. And so I think this is maybe coming from a lack of opportunities to really practice speaking in a social context. Because when you're speaking in a social context, that intonation happens kind of naturally. Intonation, body language, those things come into your speaking organically. But I think you're going to have to find ways to force that intonation into your speaking, even if you don't have too many social opportunities to use English. A couple of just small things. Event. The word event sounded a little bit strange. The pronunciation was a little off there. And then here you switch to present perfect, where what you want is just just that simple past is what we're looking for. Okay? So, yeah, overall, I think the content was really good. The pronunciation was a little bit shaky, mostly due to intonation. So really, really try to work on that if you can. Let's go ahead and move on to our next speaking response from Kushbu. Let's go ahead and listen in, and I'll take some notes as usual.
The method that best suits me to save money is, I would say, auto deduction. Auto deduction is something wherein the amount is automatically deducted from my account and saved somewhere else into some other account. And I actually like to save or invest into provident funds and mutual funds. Well, these areas not only save money, but they earn interest as well. So I can actually see my money growing. I have been investing for quite some time now. It has actually been 6 years to be precise that I've been investing into provident funds, and about 2 years that I've been investing into mutual funds. And I'm very much delighted with the results. It was actually my mother who had educated me into investing and saving well. Provident funds are pretty much common here in my country. Each and every employee, be it a government employee or a private sector employee, would have a provident fund, and even the employer would be contributing some part into their accounts, provident fund accounts. While on the other hand, mutual funds are not so common. In fact, mutual fund houses have been investing heavily into marketing their products and educating people about the good returns and better investment options, which are mutual funds. I think auto deduction is a very much effective approach. At least for me, it works well because I do not have to worry about saving some amount each month from my salary. It actually gets auto deducted, and whatever is left, I can spend that as I wish to. So it's very effective for me.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, it was a really good response. You had some good content there. One thing I noticed is that the variety of vocabulary is a little bit limited, and so you may want to try to watch that video on the 5-point strategy. I think that'll give you some opportunities for using a wider range of vocabulary. So I think the content was really good, and it's very clean and clear and easy to understand. Just that little bit of variety would be even better. A couple of just quick mistakes. So invest in. And I heard this 4 or 5 times in your response. Into is not correct. In is correct. I couldn't quite catch this type of fund, but that's okay. And then the other thing is pretty much and very much. One thing you can use to remember this is that much is a way of quantifying a noun. So we don't use much before an adjective like delighted or common or effective. We just use very. Very delighted, pretty common, very effective. And here I would just stick to the past simple. Has educated me didn't quite work there, but who educated me? All right, so yeah, overall, this is a really good response. I think you're doing a really good job here. Make sure that you book your speaking mock exams. It's a really important part of the program. I don't think we've done a speaking mock exam with you yet, so make sure that you book those. You can book them anytime that you want, but I recommend doing one speaking mock exam sort of in the middle of your month after you've learned some of the strategies in our courses, and then one at the end just to check your progress and see if you're ready to take the exam or if you need some more practice. Okay, nice job though. Let's go ahead and move on, and we've got one more response from Himanshu. And this is from this week's prompt. So let's go ahead and listen to our second Himanshu answer today.
Well, when I was in college, I was getting 5,000 rupees as a pocket money from my parents, but I'm unable to save even a single rupees. I didn't know where my money is going. I think I totally spent my whole money on doing shopping or eating out at restaurants with my friends. And I was really depressed at that time that I didn't have money to buy even books or other stuffs. So one of my friends who was in my class had shown me an app known as Financial Advisor, and I immediately downloaded it, and he told me how it works, and I learned it completely. After that, I every day I just jot down that things where I've spent everything. I write for the full month. I tried, and after 1 month, he showed me, told me that you have spent this of money on this sector and this on this sector. So he gave me warning sign in between the 15 days that you should spend on these sectors particular and stop spending money on these areas. So after that, I did that, and it really helped me to save 500 rupees. I think it was a really amazing app. It's a very simple app, and it can be used by anybody. So I told my father that how I save now. I'm saving money, then he also wants to download it, and he wants that how he spent his money on the family, on the home buying. So he also used it. He also find it's a very effective app, and it's very easy. And he was also my father was also.
Okay, really nice. Yeah, great content. This one is much better than your first one. So I think you'll find that you used a little bit fewer words, perhaps. So you didn't speak quite as quickly, but it was so much easier to understand you in this one. I had no pronunciation issues with your response here at all. Okay, so I think the intonation that you did in this, and the kind of rhythm and the speed control that you had is much, much better here than in your first response. So good job there. Let's see, I was unable, and then with spend money, you can spend money on something, spend money on some items, but if you're going to use an ing verb, you don't need to use on. Spend money doing shopping, and here I would actually use going shopping. And then other stuff is uncountable, so no S on the end of that. You use past perfect here, but actually it was not really the right time to use it, so he showed me an app. Yeah, in this case, you're really talking about a story that moves from like first, second, third, fourth, fifth. In that case, there's really no use for past perfect. The best way to use past perfect is in describing or explaining your reactions or your emotions. So I was really surprised because I had never seen that before. Okay, I was so impressed because I had only been there once before and it was not so great. Okay, so impressed, surprised, excited, shocked, disappointed. If you're describing why you're disappointed, past perfect works really well. Okay, and then here, jot down. So jot down, no, jot down. All right, but otherwise really nice. Yeah, big improvement from the earlier one, so good job with that. And that will do it for our feedback this week for part 2. Not too many people submitting part 2 responses this week. Hopefully, if you're watching this will give you some inspiration to submit your response this week. Don't miss this opportunity. And if you haven't done your speaking mock exams, book them now. Okay, on the Band 9 homepage or the Band 8 homepage, you can find the link or the tool, kind of the app for scheduling a speaking mock exam. Remember, Band 9 members, you get 2 every month. Band 8 members, 1 every month. So don't miss the chance, and hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to you guys very soon. All right, cheers. See you later, guys.